Aggressive.
Good to see you, Mr. Jensen Heyman.
And you as well, Madam Kluver. And maybe I'll be back.
Maybe. So is there only one service then today with the cantata?
Yes.
Should have brought my kids up. They would have loved that. My
Yeah.
husband plays piano at our church.
Oh,
So
there we go. Oh, very nice.
he's very, so he had other commitments.
Well, I would have, believe it or not, I enjoy recitals when I'm listening much more than ever. When I was younger.
Did you have to do
And had to
one?
be ready to do one.
Yeah, we're getting ready to put our 7-year-old. They see it because Thomas practices it. We actually have his like great grandparents like pump organ at our house.
Oh, that even makes it more
So
fun.
they think that's kind of cool. And they're both tall enough now they can play. He showed up,
I'm ready to be crafty.
Good morning. Good morning.
artistic.
Oh, I just happen to be crafty.
I didn't bring any cookies.
Ooh, okay.
Mr. Kluver made cookies, so those are
And they're
courtesy.
good.
Kluver made cookies. He's so good.
Did you like get the pecan nugget thing? The long skinny
Yes,
fingers?
yes.
Yeah, those are his great grandmother's recipe. Oh, they're so good. I had like 4 months. I was like,
Okay, well, I'll have to try one of those.
and then the
Now we
ginger
know
snaps
who's
are my
gonna-
great granddad's recipe.
Ooh. So we have to
So
sell
we've
more.
got
So you have to, I know.
special treats here.
I don't know, he just went to town and like before I knew it, he made 2 cookies and then we went to out for lunch and went to the library to get some new library books and we came back and he was making a 3rd cookie. I was like, you get that.
Good for him.
Wow.
He's into measuring, huh? You needed to measure.
Nah, he likes the bacon stuff and then his Christmas light show didn't work last night, so then he just like, it spiraled downhill pretty fast.
Oh, no. Is that one of those things you have to go out and go like this with every plug?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, and ours was like set to music, so then people were like driving by and it wasn't all working. It was the whole thing. You like felt a lot of pressure. I was like, it's a free show. It's fine. Let's go back.
It's a free show.
Well,
Those are good.
it's a matter of where 2 or more are gathered, I guess.
Yes, no, we can get started.
We can start, and in the minute the crayons come out, there will be.
I mean, people are just gonna hoard. I know.
To the door. Okay.
Oh, here's another.
Oh, good. I knew it might be. We have cookies to go with the coffee today.
Oh,
Mr.
wow.
Kluver, so.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so oh, we have someone joining us. So so today we're gonna look at creating hope. Let's see if this one moves forward.
Good morning, Anne. Good to see you. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So today's invitation, so what I've done is I guess I'll tell you what I've done and I can go back to sleep. So I purchased and printed out a bunch of different coloring sheets, if you will, from this place called Sanctified Art. They do really cool, like art centered, like cool curricula, such for churches, but these are all to do with this year's readings from Advent. And what you'll find on your chair is kind of a summary of what we did last week, if you're interested, the Visio Divina. But then here, what they've included is artist statements for each piece. So what I encourage today is we're each gonna choose a picture, or I print out multiples of all of them. So if you all want to choose the same one, work together and talk about it, you can. And then you can also look at the verse if you're interested, but at least read kind of the artist statement of like what they were thinking when they made it. Then you can either color it, or what I think is kind of cool that they do, and these are like huge, like they recommend like huge for in your church banners, but I did bring cardboard and X-Acto knives. But if you'd like to do like a cutout, some of these I think would be really cool. Like if you wanted to do some cutout in certain areas and color other areas, and then you could have like a paper piecing situation.
That seems really advanced.
That's why I brought multiple levels. You can either, we got crowns, washable markers, very friendly, or X-Acto knives. If you're feeling more adventurous. Yeah, these would be cool. So in my like dream world, right, we have a huge banner, we're all cutting it together, but I didn't want to scare too many people, so.
I don't know why you keep pointing at me.
You're the only person I
I'm
know
standing
on
with
my
We have
team.
the highest hope for you.
You keep from crashing down.
It's that joy sign.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to look through the artist statements first and the images, or come here and choose one, and then I thought you can read through the artist statement, and then we can, of course, have cookies and coffee and talk as well, or if you want, if you have your reflections as you go. But yeah, so these are all for year C art pieces.
Lindsay, how many different congregations since you came out of the divinity school model for this are actually engaging more and more in this kind of adult level?
I don't know, you're kind of, I've done this at my home church in Fairfield. I did a Lent thing. You guys are kind of my first other church, but I think like, right,
on the
more
road.
pastors who come out of United do things like this. You know, like I think Damon is more aware of how to do, you know, like I think there's more pastors having those conversations. And I think the UCC church in general is pretty good. They're active in those. Here's cardboard too, if you wanna try your hand at night.
Sorry, I won't arrive late.
Yeah, so we have, so last week we did Visio Divina, so the first handout's kind of a summary of what we did last week.
Visio Divina, great.
And then this week, we have a bunch of different art sheets, and these are the artist statements that go with them, having to do with this year's Advent, and then the invitation's kind of to choose one, and either do paper cutting or coloring, and thinking about kind of the artist statement and your own reflection on the piece.
Lindsay, I'm sorry I didn't make it last week. What art pieces did you do? Visio
Oh,
Divina?
it was very controversial.
Oh, was it? I'm sorry. Gosh.
It was very exciting.
Half the class left in a huff.
Yeah.
Evan Gray was still bringing it up to Damon later about how he didn't see any sheep. So this was the piece we kind of looked at together last week. And he was really upset about the lack of sheep situation, so.
I just can't believe that he can't see the sheep.
I know, I see sheep, but I didn't see a whole angel, so I can't really judge. Yes. But I never saw this angel. I don't know why. It just,
Oh, really?
I didn't see that angel for like half the time.
I was completely drawn to that.
I was like all the way up here. I don't know.
Well, maybe I would.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It was had swirly.
From the
I
other
like
side,
that.
And then
Very waterfall.
And
What do you
my.
think? What do you think?
So what would you like?
I
We got markers and crowns and X-Acto knives. Crayons.
Thank you. I was gonna ask you, but I didn't know. I try not to
Milk.
push too far. The crayons in this.
They're all boxed here.
Look at, are these like from your like home
No,
family
no,
supply?
these are from my home supply. if you
Oh,
like.
those are.
That's just more invitation.
I actually like that one. I like swirly.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And I brought colored pencils too.
Good color people.
To be
And
creative.
I don't know how many of them are sharp
And
Oh.
they never use, but you are more than welcome.
Can you do a combination?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
This isn't very much time. Yeah.
We have colored pencils.
Yeah, she has. We
I
already sit by her.
have
Sit by
But
her.
I want markers. I want
Oh,
to.
really?
have it all.
And crayons?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
have a whole chair full of markers.
Where are you sitting, Bev?
I'm sitting right here, but I was gonna sit on the floor just to do the deal.
Yeah.
You
To
have to,
do the deal.
so I'm.
Well, let's put our colored pencils right there then.
Okay. But markers might be good for some.
I'm gonna have, I'm gonna get my coffee and
all the ingredients.
Oh,
I'm gonna put it back here so I don't knock it over. coloring.
They're, the ones I'm choosing do not. Oh, wait, I'm not.
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes we get really excited about sharpening them.
Yeah, do you have a sharpener?
Not with me.
Ah,
What you got, you got.
Lindsay.
I have X-Acto knives.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
You want to self-sharpen?
She's over here doing creative slicing.
That will do it. Boy, this is relaxing.
But we need music.
Let's think about that.
I can't do art.
Yeah, but then everybody will disagree on the music. And,
No, because I control it, so you can't disagree.
oh, you
Just learn how to
authoritarian
voice
approach,
it.
is that what you're saying?
Questions for Lindsay. There's some other round ones over here.
I have a whole set of colored pencils at home that I could have got. I know.
Well, yeah. That's what I. This is easier, it has little pieces. This one has to be in it. It's.
So do you go to community church in Fairfield then? Lindsay?
Yes. I think we might be the only church left in.
Really? How many people do you have on a Sunday?
20-ish, not bad. And then we have co-pastors who also do a church in Nelson. We share the pastor.
Presbyterian or
No, I can't remember if they're Methodist or UCC.
probably, yeah. I would guess Methodist, but who knows?
You have a sharpener?
Ah,
See, I'm
You have
gonna
to chew on
disappoint
it.
everyone.
She has an exacto.
Does
on
this
it.
church have a
I'm
sharpener?
trying to
Yes,
think-
it
I
does.
was just trying to think where it would be. I will check to see if there's.
I brought cookies though. You can have a cookie.
Fills the sharpener void.
Did the recital go well yesterday?
Yes, they all did really great.
I didn't realize she was having 3.
I know.
That's
Isn't
a
that
gift to the parents though.
Isn't that amazing? Some of the older kids, though, I tell you, are pretty amazing.
Older being how old, Matt?
That's a good question. I'm gonna guess, somewhere in high school.
Oh, okay.
And so this was Hannah Jensen's music students recital. So mostly piano. There was a guitar and a ukulele as well.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Well, Brett's daughter, can't remember her name.
Uh-huh.
Was she in it?
So Hannah had 3 separate recitals.
Oh,
And so she was not in the one that Vivian was.
oh, I see, I see.
But I think that she does take lessons from. So I would assume that she was probably earlier in the day.
Yeah, she was really good when she played this summer.
I found one mounted to the wall, which means
Oh.
if you have a couple that you would like sharpened, I will take it in there.
Nothing sounds like an old church, like pencil sharpeners mounted to the wall.
Oh, I'm looking for red.
I'm checking on that technique. That's what I do when I.
Well, I wanted
with
to
water.
I'm learning. I'm making it up as I go. I need to do
Different
different
ones
ones.
in your few there that just come out of the bag. I'll do
Oh,
one.
okay.
If there are a few in there that you like. sharpen.
Well,
These two guys. There we go.
I'm looking for like a different kind of.
Really does make some really good erasable color.
Who does?
How is that even possible?
I didn't break into that stash.
This is dark, actually. I wanted a lighter thing.
Lindsay, did you ever go on a retreat where we did an art project? I draw a line, you draw a line.
No.
You ever do that? I should show you some of the art that's come out of that. For the first night, we just do black, we have a big sheet of paper, like 24 by 18. And then we just give everybody Sharpie markers that night and they just doodle and do something like this, just all 12
Yeah.
or 15 of them, Then the next day they get, colored markers and then they color it in. It's just beautiful what they do.
Were you working on the orange one? Is that the one?
Yeah, I didn't have to. You can share.
You're the light.
Anybody else?
Molasses cookies are good.
I'm harking back to my childhood.
Molasses, really?
Like a ginger snap? Like molasses.
Yeah.
I guess, Eileen's is not doing their molasses cookies this year.
They are.
Yeah, someone said they went
Eileen.
in and they couldn't get enough molasses.
That's not surprising.
And molasses is with the syrup, not with the sugar and baking items, if you're looking in the grocery store. Took forever to find it.
I'm a real heretic because I don't like Eileen's cookies. They're just like one step away from cookie dough for me. They have
Cookie
way-
dough's yummy. Cookie dough's the best.
Yeah, and they also use way too much almond extract.
Sometimes the frosting is a little much.
I don't like their frosting. Thomas loves their frosting. I don't really like their frosting.
My mom started just making dough for us when we were
They
kids.
are.
Oh,
We
really?
liked the dough before they were cooked rather than after they were cooked.
Really? Yeah. not
So
me.
she'd mix them up and put them on spoons and put them in the
It's just
refrigerator.
A bonus
So we
opportunity
eat
to be
that.
there. It is
Yeah,
amazing.
fish
So I
or raw
took
egg
this
in
to Eileen
But that was before they.
before
thought
church
of
on
those
Wednesday.
things.
Yeah.
And
It's
none of that's
amazing how
bad.
many people go in and out of there
Really?
over the course of.
You didn't?
No,
Okay.
I did, but I came back.
Oh, really? You just-
No,
just love those
Well,
cookies
I
so
thought
much.
of her many, many times to sit down
I don't know how to make them.
and actually,
How'd
plan
you
B was in my mind.
do? Were you successful?
Well, we hope so. Hoping we did. Stay moist pretty good.
Well,
That's the point. This one reminds me, we went to the Minden opera, or the Minden display last night. We went west instead of east, so we missed Thomas's.
Yeah, it was a tragic night. You didn't miss much.
It
It
might
was a-
just get taken down.
It was a tragic.
What's that?
My husband's Christmas lights weren't working right last night. It was just very stressful.
What wasn't working well?
He has Christmas lights that are set to music,
Oh, really?
and half the house was lighting up, and he couldn't figure out why. And he purposely, like when we remodeled our house, we had an extensive move of our house, I guess. We built a basement and moved our house onto it. And he purposely had them like put a lot of extra outlets on the outside and special breakers and stuff, but I don't know, he couldn't figure out what was going on last night. That half of them wouldn't work.
There must have been a power surge in one.
So- Our internet doesn't always work well, and our kids thought it was because of the internet. He had explained that that was different. He's like, it's probably because the internet's not.
Happy, she's always so thoughtful.
She is quite something now to go on a dark night and see that light on the prairie. So to speak.
Yeah, so Minden, they do quite a bit downtown, right? Or-
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
there was
gosh, it's
literally
amazing.
no one on the streets. when
Yeah, we
drove by.
should take our kids over there. That's-
If
We
could
go
go
down
out
to
getting ready for the
Superior,
volleyball games or something.
does a great like candy cane lane, and they have a really good Mexican restaurant, so we go down there.
Superior does? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Good
I have
little
to check that
Superior.
out. What makes it good, Lindsay? How do you distinguish a good Mexican restaurant from?
This seems like a philosophy class.
Well, you have to understand now, my grandma owned a Mexican restaurant,
Ah,
so I grew up
Mm.
with her home making everything. Oh, this is good. Fairly authentic, American Mexican, I guess. you would say.
American Mexican, yeah.
Have you, I don't know, it used to be it used to be like some kind of Victorian food place. So it's kind of fun too, because they have like stained glass and all the booze. Like someone actually like shipped booze from Europe over here when they remodeled that.
Really?
And then they kind of
was
went,
that the Lady Bessie?
yeah, and then they kind of went
Yeah.
defunct in that restaurant space, but the booze are, so it's kind of funny, because it's like Victorian booze, but Mexican restaurant. But it's kind of fun. And it's just something different. I mean, it takes us from where I live as long to get to Superior as the Hastings, so it's a good alternative.
Right.
There's
Not the
opposite.
Fairfield Opera House? You don't go there much?
We go there at least once or twice a week, but
Are you
eventually,
serious?
we're so lucky to have that.
It
You
is a nice
must
place.
go on pizza night then, huh?
Uh, not really.
I haven't been in a while, but I think they have the best pizza around.
Yeah, no. I don't know, we just go there a lot. It's nice and it's good and it's reasonably priced.
What do you usually get? What do you like?
I like their quesadilla. I like their shrimp skewers. I like their blue burger.
The shrimp skewers, I don't remember those.
Yeah, they have shrimp scampi skewers. Oh, not that of rice.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
then they have their blue burger is good.
They have salmon too, right?
Yeah, I'm a big fish person.
There's not a restaurant in town that I know of where I can get salmon. I mean, other than Odyssey, and I can't really afford it.
I think it's on the food fork menu, but it's probably about the same.
Yeah, I
cost.
find that blue forks about, yeah, that's it. But yeah, they, the Opera House, you can get a gin and martini for $2.50 and there's things you can't eat.
What? That is crazy. $2.50.
Get their
Who
craft
drinks-
beer is good.
Who drinks gin in February though? I mean, December or whatever month
Oh
we're.
my God. I do, every month, gin month.
Everyone's sitting on.
No.
The kids think they like own the restaurant, they want to know.
Well done. I thought they did.
And what would they put on?
We're big fans of the grilled cheese and the mini corn dogs and the
For
chicken.
kids?
We're big fans of the brownie with ice cream.
Yeah, but that's the go-to dessert of every place in town. You know,
I
the
know, but if
fudge.
you're a kid, you don't care.
That's exactly right. I'm contemplating here.
A lot of people chose like a Mandela.
Do
Oh,
we-
you and I chose the same.
Do I add red or do I stick with the 3 colors? My red's, such a strong color. It's kind of more natural. I know it's tough to do.
Almost wouldn't match.
No. It's a lot.
Every month is gin month.
What did you learn in
Lindsey
Sunday school
Lindsey
today?
Kluver.
And what is the history of Mandela?
Wow.
We heard about it in a song one time, and then I found out the other.
Carl Young,
Indian.
yeah,
I wonder, it looks a little bit like some of the
they're
art that
Tibetan
Turner
Buddhists
does,
for
you know.
sure.
Kylie had a class on it, and then we had that spirituality lab,
Oh,
so we all had to make them, but I can't remember anything about it. I just had to make
So
them.
where did we find the
And everyone panicked.
pencil sharpener?
oh, it's in the craft room. I went to supply room. I can get it for you.
What? No,
It's on the shelf in the
I
wall.
don't know where
And I
the.
had to close it's 2 doors down, but close the door because there's a class across the hallway.
Oh, okay.
It dawned on me. For the Schwalmers talking about
Curtis, he'd be fine.
it brought back the days when you were supposed to do that one.
Oh, I know you had to raise your hand to sharpen the pencil.
And to go to the bathroom.
And this is definitely a good grinder. It's got great gears and
It's
makes
a
a lot of
good-
noise.
It's a good.
Did you read
grinder.
about this one that we chose?
I did read about it.
It was different than what I was kind of expecting.
Mhm.
That one right there?
Yeah.
Well, how long's it been since I've used a pencil sharpener like that?
And
Does it
I,
have, could you switch the size? Did it
Oh,
have
yeah.
the-
Yeah, right. I went probably back to my elementary school
How did it
days.
make you feel?
it's powerful. Talk about working out your
Powerful.
aggression.
Oh, good.
I was just listening to NPR and
On your really long commute.
yeah, my incredibly long 3 minute commute, but it was 3 minutes of talking about art and kids.
So many of the
I
emotions.
did the easy ones. I did the easy ones. This. Finish out with those, the theater teacher who had 10 different small groups. In one.
I was just about to put them both back.
Doing. And here's a very scene. Wow, just goes off there. And I'm going. Who's other teacher in that entire wing?
I know.
Apparently they had to step out in the hallway. I just started and have to step out. But I thought, yes, it's all of that. Yeah, really. He was delighted when he got directions from the administration to do more, not less. Oh, that's great. He did not expect it. He said, no, shut down, there was too much aspiration. So he basically said, no, figure out.
How to do it.
Yes, we'll give you the room you need and we'll space you out.
That is great.
Glad. Talk about emotion and art.
We were coloring the outside of a box yesterday for some afternoon fun, and I think art was causing the emotions.
That's the supplies, right? You needed a pencil sharpener.
Oh, that's true.
Right, Dan, didn't it feel good? It just.
What was that?
Did you enjoy your pencil sharpening?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Talk about physical.
Yeah, you know, those little tasks where you actually accomplish an objective quickly. I don't have enough of those in my life.
And do
Doesn't
it
seem to
very
happen very
physically.
often.
Do it very
And it's like you can see, that's why I love mowing the lawn.
Right,
My
right.
favorite thing.
Same.
Cause you like, I work in spreadsheets all day, and you can't tell if you did anything or not, and you mow that lawn, and you can be like, I mowed that lawn.
Right.
Yeah.
Look at how great it looks.
Patterns with it. I can tell
No,
that's
I
right.
can't. I have gotten very clear instructions. on the expectations of
The
it.
direction it has to go.
Yeah.
We could all go up, set up more luminaries around Parkway.
That's exactly
Oh, yeah,
right.
what is that? Tonight?
Tonight,
I
tonight.
should drive up there tonight.
Yes, you should.
I won't.
What
Thanks-
happens tonight?
Thanks for your honesty.
Oh,
He wanted to come up here yesterday and I was like, I can't do it. Can't drive up here every day.
Sometimes twice a day.
Is it a half hour, 45 minutes for you?
It's, yeah, around a half, it's 35 minutes from my drive to where I work, taking the bypass around Showboat Road.
Uh-huh. And that's if there are no grain trucks and.
That's if there's no trains.
Oh, yeah.
Trains, I crossed
306.
3 railroad tracks, so that's if there's no trains.
Those trains.
Well, now they're like double, they're running doubles and they're trying to stop it in Nebraska, but right now they're running double unit trains. So instead of 120, it's 240 cars.
And there, they go on and on.
That seems
They
like a-
rumble by our house.
And they,
But they don't.
yeah, they're trying to get them, the railroad's trying to pass where they don't have to have as many
Oh, you have.
humans on the train.
Family too.
yeah, of course they are. You know, in some ways, you can almost run that railroad without any humans, right? With
Until
electric.
there's a problem. It's kind of like my tractor. It's great until there's a problem.
I was thinking about, I was looking at CCC has those like automated lawnmowers.
Yeah,
My brother-in-law has
I was
one.
thinking like, oh, wouldn't that just be so awesome?
Kind of like those little left.
Yeah, it's like a Roomba, but
Where
then
would
you wouldn't
ours
like
be?
it because
Where is it?
he's very erratic and you have to run him all the time. But he has a little garage, he goes and charges in, and then he has a little gate, like a dog gate that he goes on the front yard and,
so he got a male instead of a female.
yeah, they got a male robot.
Huh.
It's Jack's robots, I guess they use the same between.
I bet that female Roombas are not that temperamental though.
More patient. More time.
I would, this he and okay, that's my cleaning lady. So she's robot.
And then we have Vicky vacuum. She was, we have, you know, kind of that middle space in our house where like the kitchen, living room and dining room, we call that the narthex. She was vacuuming the narthex this morning.
Busy mops. So that's kind of,
Oh, yeah, you told me that you were going to get that.
yeah, that's kind of how it goes. But then in the basement, we have.
All the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Mow her lawn.
Mildred does not like to vacuum. She goes into the other room. in the back.
So do artists talk when they're in a big studio?
I see, like with ceramics we did, or when we were throwing, because it wasn't like. I feel like the painting studio was usually quieter. I'm also more of a talkative person, so that might just be nice.
Well, I thought of it because people will ask artists about art, you know, and they want to know more when they see something quite often. And there are quite a few artists who are speechless. You know?
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they did artist statements with these.
Mhm.
Yeah, this,
I should try to, somebody get a Sharpie. Did anybody get a Sharpie? A black one?
no,
No, okay. They didn't draw a line.
they missed one.
They missed one. Or she have to be looking carefully. so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I just think these like banners that are, let me see if I can get on the internet here. These banners they do at this place are just really, I think it'd be cool to do. I think you'd have to plan ahead. All these things.
We had a banner thing going on in the memorial room for a while, and they're hanging, I think, now. But I think it was
Jan Watkins, and Jan's been gone from Hastings College about 30 years. So it's been a long time. But people were doing things with fabric that was just.
But again, I think that was all sort of a single person. Of the group.
Group art, yeah, that would be, much more challenging. Art is so, kind of personal and objective.
So yeah, so here, like they like either project it really big, and then they do paper cutout, or there's like,
Oh, wow.
where they have them, no, it doesn't like that.
Yeah, the cutout. Fascinating.
Yeah, and then they like, yeah, and that's what, or they have them printed, on like vinyl,
Oh.
and then they have
okay.
them, and then they then they cut them, but they have some really cool, like, I don't know, this website, they're doing really cool art resources.
Now, are those created in response to windows that need attention as opposed to creating art and then finding a place to put it?
What's that? Are you talking to Lindsay or me?
Yeah, I was just thinking about, with those big panels like that, looks like they might be in a large church window, the kind of.
Yeah,
still-
yeah, there was a really cool, and this is cool, this is like Mandela steward, like they have a stewardship curriculum, and it's like a Mandela, they like recommend you can make like as part of the stewardship program they have, which
Really?
is really cool.
Dan, that would be like stewardship of the earth too. I mean, that's. sort of-
It would be like
you
what?
could- Well, if you had a group of people working on that, it would be.
Yeah, you know what, though?
Stewardship of what? Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to
I
find,
used to have, you would have been in that class, didn't I have you do a mandala with, did you take a theology in the arts class? Didn't we do a mandala in there?
that's a long time ago, dude.
How many kids ago?
I know. I was trying to find there. They had like, here it is in some sanctuaries where they have it. Like,
Okay.
and then here they like hung gold behind it. I think it's like really cool.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
And here they hung it like in front of stained glass. That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
That would only take
Wow.
700 hours.
Yeah, they rated that a 5 out of 5 project. Coloring was like a 3 out of 5.
A 3 out of 5.
Well, coloring like a big one, like, cause they could print it large and then have everyone like color it together. But here, this is kind of cool. They like put it outside.
And that's made of what?
I think they have them printed on that weatherproof like vinyl. Like you go to like an
Oh,
actual
okay.
banner
Yeah.
company online. Like they recommend the Scott print or whatever. Mhm. But then here they say like color pages, but yeah, I don't know, I thought that was just really a cool way to do digital art, like in your worship space. So it's kind of different.
Paper lace window displays. And how thick does the paper have to be?
Well, here I'm doing it like this, so you probably want like cardstock or something, not really, we're gonna get super intricate. Or that's what they say, like do it with the vinyl, but the vinyl I think would be kind of hard to cut, but
Okay, I'm gonna cut some of mine out. I'm gonna do it.
I'm happy. That makes my heart happy.
Good.
Just because some of the boring.
That's makes you feel like, oh, I'm not in kindergarten anymore.
My body is not a trigger. I'm just not haunt us with this picture for a while.
Zach and I really are like pretty awesome. It's so helpful in some stuff.
So nice having a choir back, you know?
Taught us station. Fun. You guys stay for the call?
Ah,
I'm gonna tell you, the lessons in carols are really powerful.
I thought it was really nice.
We're gonna replay that.
I was gonna say, can you see, it? Like, do they save them?
That one is replaying. I don't know if it's gonna be posted or.
It will be on the Department of Music
Okay.
Facebook page. It'll be released.
Good. So
Oh,
we'll
you're
see
talking about
another-
the colleges lessons.
Yeah, it was really, well, it was the college and here both, I guess, right?
Yeah, didn't you guys?
The brass was there and the bells.
It was primarily Hastings College. I don't know.
It was all, did we have any people in the choir? It was all Hastings College. We just hosted it, right?
Just used the church.
Yeah. But who was the soprano who sang?
Lacey Franton.
What's her-
She was Lacey Beamer when she was at HC.
She was really good.
She's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, when she started singing, it was just like, you know, not that the other singers were.
But you can tell.
No,
She's
I mean,
pretty
she,
good.
she
Yeah.
had a very, very, just a mature soprano voice, you know.
She's pretty talented for sure.
And what does she do? Is she a music teacher or?
She is, I think she's at Sandy Creek. So Matt Franzen is her husband.
Oh,
And so
okay.
he came back and is our football coach for the Broncos. He was the assistant football coach.
Did she used to be at St. Cecilia?
I don't think so. They just moved here from Crete, so he was at Dillon. But good people.
I wonder if she does
I was
the
hopeful.
kids music at my school.
I was hopeful that she'd find a job here in town, but having her at Sandy Creek is good too.
Have you been to Sandy Creek High School?
We've driven by it. Gosh, it's amazing.
Oh my, you should look at, I mean, it's a really interesting, if you're
It's a
interested in
big-
architecture and education, it's a completely different setup.
It's a
altogether.
different model, like
Mhm.
their NCAPS programs are very.
Well, that's where your kids are gonna go, right?
Preschool till senior high, you better like the kids. You got- 'cause that's all you're gonna get.
You've been in there then, right?
Yeah. Not in the high school a lot. Mainly hang out in the other wing, but yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
And you'll spend more time than you ever imagined.
Mhm.
Maybe you could be on the school board.
Mm.
'Cause I hear that's a fun job.
It's awesome.
Seems like St. Thomas would do that.
It's that low stress, I understand
I have a lot of low stress in my life.
these days.
Nothing compared to the people.
Closing down where you work. We never. It's stressful.
Maybe you should incorporate coloring time. for
Yeah, probably
everyone.
not exact knives.
Yeah. A good stress relieving opportunity for everyone.
So Lindsay, when they talk about this in divinity school and things like that, do they talk about it as a way to do lots of different kinds of interaction with
Yeah, for sure.
Generations and.
Yeah, intergenerational. Yeah, I was finding some cool like intergenerational stuff too you can do. But yeah. I think a lot of the focus showing Unite is just more like an awareness that it exists and also talking about intentionality, right? Like not just doing it to do it, but making sure if you're gonna do it, you have some intention behind it.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's paint in the middle.
I can see where if you have
You take your dark blue.
oh, yeah, take it. A group of.
Folks with questions that don't get asked.
Henry Nouwen's book, well, you saw the Return of the Prodigal, Rembrandt. Have you seen his book on that? He does a whole Visio Divina in chapters, basically.
Yeah, I think I'm familiar with it.
It's really good. It's one of my favorite books.
Did Anne stay with us with her? To listen to our conversation? while we were-
She's still there.
Bev, my gosh, you are going to town on that.
Oh.
You're almost finished. I have to take little breaks. And
I have to figure out what I'm gonna do next.
I didn't even, until you colored it though, honestly, I didn't see the hands.
Oh, you did that? Oh.
No, it's kind of funny.
Then maybe someone else can make them into something else instead of.
that's a Jewish symbol. I can't remember. what
Oh,
it
that's a
stands
good idea,
for.
because then when you start marking, it's like, oh, that's not right. Because it doesn't come out the same. No, because it's like, that's not the color I thought. Or it's dyed up. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, fuchsia is
The word's gonna get out.
that was bad. It's not bad, it's just not
Oh,
bad.
repeat this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I asked Damon if that was the thread, if I.
The threat.
It sounds like he's pretty booked next spring.
Well. And of course, we'd love to have you drive over all the time.
You do go to work from here though, right? That's where you get your.
Oh, I was today. That was just kind of first Sunday I was on a call.
Oh.
I went to work today because I need to print. And I need it. This is the cardboard we use for packaging, so I just cleaned up.
But I was like, time for you to drive another day.
Yeah, it's a harder balance with the, since Thomas is the musician at our church, someone has to sit in the pew with the kids, so we have to make sure we have that taken care of.
Does Thomas's parents, do they go to your church too?
Yeah.
There you go.
They haven't lately.
Well, that's good. I noticed how you phrase that.
Did you spill your crayons?
Yes. Oh, my God.
Sure, it's gonna happen.
What you doing?
I went to like some.
Sorry, I stole your seat.
Oh, I'm not sitting, I'm sitting on the floor.
Went and did the Christmassy things. Well, that's good. Good for her. Extra Christmas shopping today. I don't know why she didn't want to take us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. How you shooting?
Oh, I'm having.
She didn't invite me.
Because it's a surprise. I never know what color I'm getting. And then it's like, oh, that's not what I want.
Getting all the things. What does he surmise is the issue with his lights?
And it's like half of them aren't working, so he thought it was a breaker issue.
Like just completely not working? Or
Yeah.
are they not working with the music system?
No, just not work.
Have you been to the house on 7th Street in Cedar?
I have.
It's,
How can you not?
yeah, it's just right down the street from me. I'll tell you, it's like a nuclear reactor at night.
Rhodes House.
It is.
Yeah,
you
what's,
know,
Rhodes.
you know who that is, don't you?
Yeah.
right, yeah,
Deb
Yeah.
McKim Rhodes.
Deb McKim, yeah, right,
She was like a music person. I think, wasn't she?
yeah.
And now she's Adam Sense.
Yeah, right.
That is just over the top.
Maybe it's better than you would.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Here, I can help you.
I think that was candy corn one, that was fun.
I think they turned the lights back on when COVID first started. Because
I can't,
I kind
yeah,
of remember walking my dog by there and like, whoa. I live like across from the church,
In Hastings' oldest house.
or one of the oldest, but it's
I think it is the oldest.
I was gonna say, we have a spare
1882.
leg.
It's in like
They're gonna
the
pick
like
up that one.
historical book of like Hastings' oldest home.
1882 is what they told me. I know.
I think that
And
is
you-
like super cool.
is that, and you own that house or
I bought it a long time ago.
18
Hastings'
what?
oldest house?
1882. I didn't buy it then.
Just catching that.
Is it, I mean, hard to keep up or,
I don't do anything to it because I'm working all the time.
yeah,
So I'm hoping someday I can do stuff to it. I had to put a basement in it. It was very expensive.
How do you put a basement in that house?
yeah, they have to lift it up.
They couldn't, there's no side lot, so they had to make a big hole in my yard and drive under. So they dug out all my grass and everything. I had to start over and figure out how to do that.
Why did you have to put in a basement?
Because everyone kept thinking the house was gonna cave in.
Oh,
Because the one wall was cracked when I bought the house. And my dad said, I wouldn't borrow that, but I was like, I don't know.
Hastings has settled over there.
Right across, is it on Lincoln there?
Uh-huh.
How many on the?
It's
on
a
the-
little cottage, so it's
east or
not,
west
it's a tiny house, so it's not a giant house.
You should be on the home tour.
Yeah, I was before.
You
Oh, it
were, I missed it.
actually, it was just, I saw the house, I wanted to buy it and I couldn't afford it. It was on the symphony tour.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I
Who
just
owned it
wanted someone
before
to buy
you?
it. Huh?
Who owned it before you?
Jill Spingard Hornaday.
Oh.
And before that, Bob Maston, do you remember him? He was like he was a Hastings College person.
Yeah.
And he was
I know
he
the
was a
name.
sports guy.
Uh-huh.
And why was it on the symphony tour?
Because they said, I don't know, I didn't have the house and I
I
just
mean,
went,
is
oh
it symphony
no.
tour for people in the symphony or?
Well, it was to earn money for them. It was a fundraiser, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like the white.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
oh yeah, please do.
And if you're still listening, I'm gonna bring an extra set of her handouts for
And you
you.
can take her a page. Next and take extra pages.
Which one looks like Anne?
Oh. Take her a couple options.
Yeah.
I like that they put the verse on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is on your list for the rest of today, Lindsay?
So I bought laundry baskets to get my stuffed animals in there control in my house.
All of yours,
All my.
yes.
I have stuffed
Your
animals
stuffed
from- Just the basics to get ready for the week.
Yes.
Finish laundry. So they want to teach Sunday school.
Well, I feel very proud of myself, speaking of laundry, because my washing machine, which is relatively new, a year or so old, just all of a sudden stopped working.
I'm not going away forever.
And I went on to YouTube,
Okay.
looked it up, figured out what was going on, fixed it myself.
Look at you.
Wow.
All right, it would,
Oh.
I didn't have, because Washington machine repairmen, I'm sorry, they're a kind of a dishonest bunch.
Well, and
First of all, it
they're
costs
hard.
$80 just to come to your house. So it's
Hard
worth
to find them.
it. So I wasn't gonna go with that.
You're fine. I know, our washer and dryer kind of came with our house. They were out in the building and we just keep working. So we're just riding it out.
Riding it out.
Do you have to like crank?
No, they were literally like out in the, well, there used to be an extra like little shed, a wash house, an actual wash house actually. Ironically.
My grandparents farm had a wash house.
It had a wash house, which had turned into like the store shed that was put junk in, the mouse house.
The mouse house. Wash house, not mouse house, same. It's also where like the graveyard of pianos went. Our family farm. Mhm. It's really sad.
Oh, that's not how our house works. We restore them.
Well, only organs. That organ is just awesome. We should, before all the holidays are over, we should make sure we plan a dinner.
Okay.
And invite dear Thomas. Since I don't feel like we see him very often.
The rare sighting.
Thomas sighting. Like an endangered species. Like a whooping crane.
Yeah. Got your whooping crane back?
No, I
Your back pocket?
don't. No,
Your back
I'm gonna
pocket?
start doing some research. Okay, have I done enough? That's always the question. Did I do too much?
No, I don't think you did too much. I like that you did the middle. I was kind of avoiding doing the middle.
It is interesting that when you start coloring stuff in, you start seeing patterns that you didn't see before.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
seriously didn't see some things you guys are coloring. Or you guys are coloring them differently too, which is interesting. I also think it's interesting, a lot of you kind of chose the more, like, no one really chose the really explicit images, which I think is kind of fun.
This fun. Where's Mr. Grant today?
This would have been his day to deal with the sheep question.
I think I scared him off. I mean, Damon was pretty explicit that he was still riled up about the sheep on Monday.
He might be shepherding. Do you suppose that's possible? I think our owls keeps turning around the
Hey, sound from the.
I'm overwhelmed.
Just so long as you're not underwhelmed.
few quiet moments in the morning on a Sunday, David. This is pretty awesome.
Very nice.
January
We
5th.
ground a little bit of what
January 4th.
pencil dust.
Yeah, yeah.
How we-
Oh,
What
that's
what are the
fine.
conversations is how much last time we've been using?
It will be good.
Oh,
Yeah, we kind of have
yesterday,
different directions here, my friend. There's what you cut out and what I
Oh,
colored.
good Saturday.
Which is the opposite.
oh, 2 days ago.
You got a
Friday.
big
And
stuff.
we have some things to read when we go home.
It's weird.
I was noticing
My
that.
students in my
You're-
one class.
You were
never
really,
did
why did
pencils.
you start with small stuff? I would have been.
Well, I
Because they do
started
everything on
coloring
a
the big
tablet,
stuff.
and so I have to have a bunch of pencils for them.
So there you go.
Take an extra sheet or
Not one of
two or
their-
5, please.
Or 5. I
I
will.
took a bunch for Anne to give her plenty of possibilities,
Awesome.
so pop over and see her.
What's that thing? Is that your conference thing?
That's the owl that catches all our words.
And so
Sends
is
it out
that, is
to-
that, is
Yeah,
it
maybe
on the
there's a kind of
YouTube or
thing.
something? Or on
It's
Facebook?
live now.
And,
And, well, we were talking about Anne Fairbanks, and she's joining us from,
I don't know if it's
Oh,
enough to
wow.
work.
and then we recorded
Get
it.
this
so-
meeting, typically not.
Let's find one. Let's find a time.
And Matt Fong is moving to a new job.
Oh,
Really? Going on a new adventure.
New adventures.
Where are you going, Matt?
I am gonna start working in January for the crane truck.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh, good for you. That's great.
yes. So
They are lucky people.
15 years is a while that I've worked at the college. So what do you want me to do with the little scrappy scraps?
So you're gonna be what, in charge of development? Or is he-
Outreach and development.
Yeah, they're tables.
I spent a lot of time out there, actually. It's nice.
It's a great place. You know, I've worked with them on a variety of projects in the past. And so it's nice to
This is
go.
fun.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Completely
you.
aligned.
You know, you ought to get in touch with the Master Naturals program because they have a lot of people who support the
Yeah,
Crane
it's
Trust.
great.
And it's a good place
I
to
don't
start,
think
you know, developing some relationships.
They're my
I mean,
favorite.
I'm
They're
Master
like, that's
Naturals.
like
We
my
have a,
favorite.
They're really
we have a get together on
Ginger snaps?
January,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's
my great-
29.
Very nice recipe.
And it's just for people to get back together after COVID and just have a little social.
Love that.
So I mean, it may be an opportunity for you to
My
get out
husband's a
and
big candy
make a
person, but
presentation
a lot
or
of
something
work
like
to
that.
make.
Well, I'd love to just, the thing that I'm probably most
You make
worried
it,
about
it gets
in
hot
making a
and
transition,
it's hard with
over, from my time as a
kids. I remember
student and then to
last
now,
year and it just turned
I've had
into
20 years to build
You just, like, make
relationships.
hot- but
Right,
then,
right.
like, wrap 'em
And
and
so
kiss 'em when they
I
were
have fewer
super hot, and there was a
relationships,
lot of
Yeah.
putting
in
butter on
kind
your
of
hands and
in
trying
that
to-
area. And so,
Anything?
so
What are they?
if you think it's
Oh.
appropriate, I certainly would love to.
Well, we,
at least
I mean,
just
we
make
used,
connection.
we meet at their,
Yeah.
you know,
it's
the
just-
Crane Truck, what
it was
used to
just
be
full.
Crane Meadows.
Crane Meadows,
At the
yeah.
visitor center.
And that's where we'll be.
Thank you
No,
for
actually, this will be at the
hosting,
Rose Sanctuary.
Oh, well,
Thank you for doing all the work. Just sort of
but
here to make coffee.
I could introduce you to Matt Jones. And I,
Don't tell Damon. I
you know,
tried,
there
but
just
I
would
think
be
we
people
will.
there who would be interested in what's happening at the Crane
I
Trust.
love that.
So you did one or you didn't? do one?
One of
I
them's
did,
named
and I
Bosselman,
collected
so
some
that's a
of
good
theirs.
sign,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
I guess.
Seems like a positive
I
name
started
Yeah,
with
yeah.
colors and-
It's a good name
It's
to
better
to
to
be
be
aware
mixed
of.
to be connected with.
Yeah.
All right, I want to see what you're doing with yours.
Oh,
I
I'm-
picked that one too.
oh, did you? Oh, wow, that was, oh. well,
Markers
bright
do.
Colors, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's
I
really-
preferred colored pencils, I think.
Oh, really?
Because I wanted
I was
some more
working from
varied
blues out
colors.
to
but-
lighter
Well,
colors.
you know what I might
couldn't
do
find that
is,
kind of blue. That's why I was.
as
Well,
I
I
continue
guys had
this, I
yours-
might work
I
with
had
markers. I like that
I
bright.
stared at
blue
colors a
detail.
lot.
We're
Yeah,
still trying to figure
yeah.
out.
That
So I
works
should-
very well.
Only
I
if
realized
parents
after
want
a
us
while I
to
could
come
maybe
down
blend a
to,
couple,
to
but-
Yes,
Lawrence
that's what I'm.
It took
doing.
a
Well, you got a lot done.
and help
I
them.
get more
unpack their
meditative
moving
about
truck.
this stuff, I
Yeah.
think,
As you
you know.
may expect, I'm less excited.
Well, I
about
find,
it.
I was debating about the hand, and I finally said,
So
I'm
we're
spending
still
too
in
much time
negotiation.
debating about the hand, so
The
I
hands
started on the
being
little
used right
ones.
here.
Uh-huh. That's what I
They look like
consider
water to
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
right, yeah.
And then I wanted to make this into peacock feathers.
This
but
I
couldn't
wanted
remember
water,
what
but-
colors and peacock feathers
Should I
are.
include
little bit of
Thomas on
red
the
in
texture?
there.
Of course you
Like
should.
a little
You
eye
know,
thing.
Yeah.
This
I
is
would like to
amazing.
be
I mean, look at,
He
this
does
is
it.
well done. My
Too
goodness.
bad.
I had a degree in art though.
Oh, really? You really
He
went-
was working with for
Yeah.
for
Too bad,
watercolors.
Farmer
I
Man.
wish my daughter had been here because she loves doing these things. I love her
I like the variation in color.
color.
Here,
Because it was
Should
blue
we, like,
boots,
just
I wanted a
suggest
different
a
color
couple
than,
of
and it's like,
dates?
oh no, so I'll have to blend it or something.
Right.
But I
Oh,
wanted
yeah,
to
I
turn,
really like
I want these to be peacock feathers, but I would have to
They're
Google to
pretty.
see the colors, like, you know, the
Oh, right.
purples and reds and stuff, but I.
Wandering around.
The lighthouse.
What
in
are
the
you
hands. That's really interesting.
I was thinking the
Yeah, I know.
lighthouse is what I saw first, but then I see all the other things. and they're
Well, this
not
is what drew me in.
really-
I like that motif,
What about this one?
infinity or not infinity, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
Spiral. My
Like
parents are
the
gonna
Spiral,
buy
yeah,
it.
it's a
Walk me,
the eternal,
because the college has
Cycle.
that thing, what's it called? Labyrinth.
the labyrinth.
Labyrinth,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think Colin's parents are.
So that's what-
the 26th.
That's one of the
keep
oldest
wanting to wear
symbols
my
found on,
Christmas-
But
the
Oh,
Olympic
yeah,
art.
it fogs up my glasses. It doesn't
Yeah.
fit right.
Yeah.
So-
When I took one in the right
Especially
way.
the
swirlies
three-
or whatever
the
they are.
three, yeah, the three,
Okay, I don't believe anything.
spirals.
So I go to,
Yeah.
my, you know, old reliable.
whenever I see something with those
Well,
on, I'm like,
and it looks
oh, that's
wonderful.
pretty.
Yeah,
Want me to put those out?
all right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I use my work.
I haven't had that.
Lindsay, I think these are all Damon's.
The pencils are mine.
Somebody
Okay.
else
That's
has a
what I have.
dog.
Thank you. Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you. I should have known maybe some of them were sharpened at both ends, but that
That's
must
a,
be an
yeah,
artist.
that must be, that's a Kluver girl technique. That's a good one.
Lindsay, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys for
Lindsay,
coming.
thanks for pushing us into seeing and recognizing.
Great,
and-
look at you
Now you
creating
want to
hope.
go and paint,
Look at
right?
that hope you just created.
Yes.
I'm gonna think about this idea that, you know, just in black and white, we didn't see some of those patterns, but when it got colored in. there's
No,
a-
yeah.
There's certainly a metaphor there for
Yes.
something, you know what I mean?
So true. Thank you, Lindsay.
Bye, thank you.
Yep, I'll follow up with Miss Kelly on a thing, and I'll reply back to Thomas's text.
Thank you so much. Oh, this has been a delight. I don't get to have these conversations very often.
Well, and I don't think any of us really get to do something like this very often. I was thinking of all the contexts where we might have, you know, around the quilting or like you said,
Yeah.
making cookies.